A number of African leaders, among them Kenya's President Uhuru Kenyatta, have arrived in Addis Ababa, Ethiopia for the 22nd African Union Summit. More are expected Thursday morning in time for the heads of state and government session that will end on Friday. And ahead of the continent's leaders meeting, the Executive Council that comprises the African Foreign Affairs Ministers has been meeting since Monday to draft the summit's agenda. And according to Kenya's Foreign Affairs Cabinet Secretary Amina Mohamed, Africa's relationship with the International Criminal Court remains a key issue that the heads of state and government must deliberate on.
And so since then, the issues that were raised in the decision included our going to the Security Council to ask for a deferral. So they have that report now. The second one was the issue of the Assembly of State Parties in The Hague. And of course, we have the report from that as well. It was about our president going to court, and we'd agreed that he wasn't going to go. Africa decided that, and so far he hasn't gone. So at least there's some good news to report on that.
During the extraordinary summit of the African Union, convened at Kenya's request in October, the African leaders directed President Uhuru Kenyatta not to attend trial at The Hague until his term in office is over. They also directed the African Union Commission, together with Kenya, to submit the continent's concerns with the operations of the ICC during the Assembly of State Parties to the Rome Statute in November. A meeting that, among others, agreed to introduce Rule 134 quota to the court's rules of procedure and evidence to allow leaders holding key positions to waive their right to be physically in court during their trial, and also to be granted excusal from trial sessions. But the AU Executive Council is keen on more reforms to the Hague-based court.
It was about ensuring that as we went forward, we looked at the Rome Statute very objectively, with clear eyes, not with African eyes or European eyes or American eyes, but with objective eyes of a member state that walked with those same eyes open into the Rome Statute, right? Look at it clearly, carefully, objectively, and see what ails it, because obviously it has some ailments, and try and cure those ailments, right? And so since that time, together and also individually, we've been able to do that. We've been able to look at the Rome Statute. We've been able to look at the workings of the court. We've been able to look at the procedures that were deployed in our cases. We've been able to look at the role of the OTP. And we are able to come up with very good suggestions going forward on what needs to be done to address, some of the gaps, some of the shortcomings, some of the things that need to be done to ensure that this court has the highest standards.
The unrest in the Central African Republic and Congo, as well as the situation in South Sudan, are issues the African leaders are expected to deliberate on at length and provide the way forward in line with the African Union's ambitious project of a peaceful continent by 2020. The African heads of state and government will also elect a new chairman of the African Union, and in line with the rotational format used in picking the chair, North Africa will provide the man to take over from Ethiopia's Prime Minister Haile Mariam Desalegn. There were whispers among the delegates that President Uhuru Kenyatta was likely to take over, speculation that has been dispelled by Dr. Zuma.
The east, which is Ethiopia, the next region is north. So Kenya is not quite north. So the chair will come from the north. Then we'll see who, but it's the 10 of the north. That's how the rotation goes.
The chair of the African Union serves for 1 year in a rotational system that ensures that each region in the continent gets an opportunity to lead. The pressure for Africa's mass exit from the International Criminal Court has since died down after Africa's successful push for the inclusion of Rule 134 quota to the court's rules of procedure and evidence. However, the African leaders are still keen on pushing for an amendment to the Rome Statute to provide that no sitting head of state and government should be tried at the Hague-based court. Francis Gashori, Citizen TV, Addis Ababa, Ethiopia.